Hey guys, Dr. Torado. This morning I was asked by a doctor. He just asked me flat out. He's like, "Hey Jason, I just want to know how the hell do I build my practice? I mean, like, what do I do?" He obviously he didn't want me to start coaching him because the guy he's fearful of practice management companies because he's already spent enough money, spent a small fortune. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to do that to learn. But he asked me just flat out, if there was a way to build your practice, how do you build your practice? How do you become successful in chiropractic? And I'm going to tell you something. It breaks down to three, maybe four things that you have to do. Okay? Here it goes. Number one, your practice has to look professional and it has to be a certain way that does not give your patients the willies when they walk in. Now, look, you might think your practice looks really pretty, right? It might look really comfortable. You might have these photos of these of B.J. Palmer and D.D. Palmer all over the place, and the pictures of the spinal anatomy pictures and all those things. Those things may look great to you, right? But those things scare the crap out of patients. They serve absolutely no purpose. In 30 years of business, I've never had a patient walk up to the sclerotogenous chart and go, "Oh yeah, what zone is that sclerotogenous zone right there by the trapezius? Because that's where I have pain." Like those things don't happen. Okay, so get rid of if you've got pictures like that inside your office, get rid of them. Your practice has to look, it has to look professional, but it also has to look presentable, and it's got to look modern and up to date. So windows got to be clean. And then the outside of your office has got to look a certain way also. You got, your sign has to be updated. So appearance is really, really important. Okay, it's number one. But that's not the end all. But that's one of the things that you actually have to have. The next one is you. Look, I don't like wearing a tie. I don't like wearing a white jacket. My white jacket is off right now. But your appearance is really important. Okay. I wear a white jacket, tie. I think it's really important. My tie is a little crooked here, right? But I think it's extremely important to look that way. It makes you look like a doctor. Now, I get it. You look like a doctor. That's not cool to say, especially if you're a chiropractor. But that's what people expect, and that's what people want to see. And a white jacket looks clean, and being shaved looks clean. I try to keep my weight down. I try to, I'm 56. I try to stay in great shape. Like, that's really important. So if you're 20, 30 pounds overweight, you need to get on that. You've got to look professional. You can't look sick, because if you got sick people coming in and you don't look the part, those people aren't going to stay. They're just not going to stay. So you've got to look the part. You got to be competent. You have to look competent. It's extremely important. Number three, probably the most important thing is, what I always tell you, build your list of patients. Build your list of patients. Extremely important. Do you do that? Do you build your list of patients? So many doctors, I ask them if they have a list of patients, a database, a spreadsheet of their patients. They don't. Okay. They don't have a spreadsheet of their database. They can't get their database from this chiropractic software that they're using. You have to have a database of all of your patients, and you have to be communicating with those people. And when I mean communicating with those people, I mean sending them emails, sending them text messages, sending them postcards. You have to do that. That has to be done on autopilot, because that's called nurturing your relationships with them. It's extremely important to nurture your relationships with those people on a regular basis. But that's before they come into your office, become patients, and then when they become patients, afterwards, when they leave your office, you can't just forget them and if you've got a reactivation program inside your office, you're doing something wrong, because reactivations means you haven't spoken to them in a long time, so you need to actually tell your secretary to try to reactivate them. That doesn't work. That's old school. You need to be communicating with them every single week, nurturing that relationship, because if you don't, somebody else will. And lastly, I mean, that's kind of everything. Nurturing your relationships, and then also, again, communicating with them. The last thing, I already kind of gave you the hint, and that is communicating with them in several different ways. And that is, I told you, emails, newsletters. That was my talk yesterday and what's working Wednesday. And then 2, text messages. I told you text message is really important. And then also postcards. Got to be doing that at least once a month. All right. Very, very, very important that you do those things. Right. They're extremely, extremely important. And you know what? Look, take it day by day. You might feel overwhelmed. That's a normal thing. If you're not feeling overwhelmed sometimes, then you're probably not working. Okay. So take it day by day. Those doctors that feel completely stressed, well, look, you're an entrepreneur. Get used to it. That's part of being an entrepreneur. You asked for it. If you don't like that, then go get a job working at the joint. But that's what it takes. You've got to embrace that feeling of feeling a little bit of stress, a little bit of overwhelm every now and then. But if you don't like that, go become an associate. Let somebody else, pay you, and let somebody else get the overwhelm and the stress. Okay. But if you are an entrepreneur, you really want to be in control of your own income. Then you know what? Stress, a little bit of overwhelm comes from time to time. But that's basically it. Final thing I want to tell you is hold yourself to a higher standard. I see a lot of chiropractic offices. We walk inside there. They're really, really dirty offices. There's clutter all over the place. They don't look at their office with a lot of pride. You work there. You got to be there. You got to spend a good portion of your life there. Make sure that your office is a good place to work. Really, it's very, very important. Because if you like working there, other people will like coming there because it'll show in you. But that's it, man. There's really no secret to being successful in chiropractic. And if things aren't working out for you, then one of these 4 things that I told you is probably missing. So go back, take a look at your practice, give it a hard look, and go over the things that I just said. And I guarantee you're probably weak. If your practice isn't where it should be, you're probably weak in one of those areas. You need to focus in on that. All right, guys, I got to go. Got a patient coming. So I will talk to you soon. Peace. I love you. God bless you.